You learn what matters when everything is stripped away. You learn how strong your spirit really is, not when things are easy, but when life tests you in ways you never imagined. It may not feel like it when you're hurting, but pain can be a turning point. A crossroads between who you were and who you're meant to become. And as hard as it is to believe when you're in the middle of it, you are being shaped, not by the pain itself, but by what you choose to do with it. You see, some people let pain harden them. They become bitter, guarded, cold. They build walls so high that even light can't enter. But you have a choice. You can choose to let pain deepen you instead. To let it make you softer, not weaker. Kinder, not smaller. Braver, not broken. That is where your power lies. It doesn't lie in pretending you're not hurting. You don't have to take huge steps every day. Some days, just standing still is an act of strength. Some days, resting is the most productive thing you can do. Don't be hard on yourself for moving slowly. The fact that you're moving at all, in your own way, in your own time, is what counts. So today, if all you can do is show up, let that be enough. If all you can offer is a weary heart and a tired soul, offer it anyway. If you feel like you're not doing enough, remember presence is enough. Being here, living this moment, breathing through the second, that is enough. You're not behind, you're not broken, you're not less. You are becoming. And becoming takes time. It takes patience, compassion, and forgiveness, especially toward yourself. No matter where you are in your journey, remind yourself of this. You don't need to leap over mountains to prove that you're moving forward. You don't need to reinvent yourself overnight. You only need to begin with one small, honest step in the direction of who you're becoming. Because some days that step is as simple as getting out of bed, as brushing your hair, as whispering to yourself, "I'm trying." We underestimate the power of small actions because they don't come with fireworks or applause. No one sees the battles we fight in silence. No one sees the moments when we choose hope over despair, even when the darkness hasn't fully lifted. But these are the moments that matter. These are the moments that shape us. It's easy to feel discouraged when you think change should be fast. But real change, the kind that lasts, is built slowly, gently, one day at a time. The tree doesn't burst from the seed in a single day. You deserve to start again, not someday, but today. You deserve joy. You deserve healing. You deserve peace. And all of that begins the moment you choose yourself, not in some distant future, but here in the now. So take the first step, however small, however shaky. Take it with trembling hands and a hopeful heart. Let today be the day you stop waiting for a better moment and start creating one. Life is happening right now, and so are you. And that is more than enough to begin. We all want healing to be simple. You are not here to perform your healing. You are not here to prove your worth. You are here to live truthfully, love fully, and grow honestly at your own pace, in your own way, even if no one ever says, "Well done." So celebrate yourself. Celebrate the unseen victories. The morning you got out of bed when everything hurt, the night you didn't spiral, the boundaries you held, the honesty you spoke, the apology you gave, the love you offered, the peace you chose. These moments matter. You matter. The world may not always recognize your journey, but you do. And that is enough. Because the goal isn't to be seen, the goal is to be whole. Let the world miss the applause. You're not living for the noise. You're living for something deeper, something real. And that is more powerful than any spotlight could ever offer. You are your own witness, your own strength, your own home. You are more powerful than you think. Not because you've avoided pain, but because you've endured it and are still capable of love, of hope, of beginning again. Your pain is part of your power, and you don't need to wait until you're healed to start using it. You can begin now, right here, right in the middle of your becoming, because even in your hardest moments, you are still rising. And that is a kind of power the world cannot take away. In a world full of noise, applause often becomes a measurement of worth. We live in times where success is broadcast, milestones are captured in pictures, and healing is expected to be inspiring, visible, tidy, and fast. We're taught almost unknowingly to seek validation for our growth, to look outward for confirmation that we're doing life right? But real journeys, the most meaningful ones, rarely come with applause. Sometimes growth is painfully quiet. It happens in the stillness of your room when no one is watching. You are growing. You are becoming. And every small step you take is a victory, even now, even today. Especially today. There are moments in life that break you open, moments that shake you to your core, leave you questioning everything, your strength, your purpose, even your ability to keep going. And yet, somehow, in the middle of that storm, something remarkable begins to happen. Pain enters your life like an uninvited guest. It arrives without warning, sits beside you in silence, and refuses to leave. It changes your rhythm. It changes your thoughts. It changes the way you see the world. But what no one tells you is that sometimes pain is not here to destroy you. Sometimes it comes to awaken you, because there are lessons that comfort can't teach. There are truths that only heart attack reveals. And there is a kind of wisdom that only comes when everything you once leaned on falls apart. You learn who you are in the dark. Whatever it is, choose it today. Because life doesn't wait for you to feel ready. It moves with or without your permission. And every day you spend waiting for the perfect moment is a day you could have spent growing, healing, becoming. There is no perfect day. There is only today. And today holds quiet miracles if you're willing to see them. In the way your heart still beats despite the pain. In the way your lungs still fill with air, even after the tears. In the way you still hope, even with all that you've been through. That hope, that spark, is a sign that you're still in the game. You haven't given up on yourself yet. And that means you still have time. Time to try. Time to change. Time to rewrite the story you've been telling yourself. Let go of the myth that transformation must be dramatic. We want it to be clear, straightforward, predictable. We want to move from broken to whole in a straight line, with no detours and no delays. But healing doesn't work that way. It's not a staircase that you climb step by step. It's not a map that you follow from point A to point B. Healing is a path you walk in circles, in spirals, in stops and starts. It's messy, confusing, and often full of contradictions. One day you feel strong, the next day you fall apart. One moment you're hopeful, the next you're exhausted. You take 3 steps forward, then 2 steps back. And it's easy to feel like you're failing, like you'll never get better, like the pain will never loosen its grip. But that isn't failure. That's healing. They took that pain, and instead of letting it define them, they transformed it. And you can too. You don't need to have all the answers today. You don't need to make sense of all the suffering. But if you can hold on to the belief that this pain will one day serve a purpose, then already something inside you is healing. One day, you'll look back and see how this moment, this heartbreak, this loss, this struggle taught you something sacred. It showed you what matters. It brought you closer to your truth. It made you more human. You don't have to be grateful for the pain. That's not what healing means. but you can be grateful for what it gave you: a new perspective, a deeper strength, a softer heart. So don't hide your pain. Don't be ashamed of your story. Wear your scars with honor. They are not signs of weakness, but proof that you survived. Proof that life tried to break you and failed. They see your smile, but not your battles. They see your achievements, but not the struggle it took to get there. They see the calm in your eyes, but not the storms you've weathered in silence. So why rely on their praise to measure your worth? You are the only one who truly knows how far you've come. You know what it took to show up today. You know how many times you wanted to quit and didn't. You know the strength it took to forgive. You know the courage it took to try again, even when everything inside you said not to. That knowledge, that quiet, honest knowing is more valuable than any recognition. Let go of the need to be seen all the time. Not everything meaningful needs to be shared. Not every moment of progress needs a post. You are allowed to grow privately. You are allowed to heal quietly. You are allowed to evolve without explanation. Sometimes the most beautiful transformations happen in the dark, like roots beneath the soil, unseen but alive. Like a caterpillar in a cocoon, silent but becoming. No one claps for the roots. No one cheers for the cocoon. But without them, nothing beautiful would bloom. So don't chase applause. Don't measure your worth in likes, shares, or approval. Because the journey that shapes you will not always be the one that's seen. And the most important parts of your story will often be the ones no one else knows about. Trust the process, even when it's quiet. Especially when it's quiet. It takes great courage to walk a path that no one understands. It takes even more courage to keep walking it when no one is clapping, when no one is cheering, when no one notices. But that is where your strength multiplies. That is where your character is built. Showing up is sacred. Showing up with all your fears and flaws is an act of quiet rebellion against everything that tells you you're not enough. So take a deep breath. Acknowledge how far you've come. You may not be where you want to be, but you're not where you used to be either. And that matters. Every sunrise is an invitation to try again, to show up again, to begin again. And every time you say yes to that invitation, you are growing even if you don't see it yet. So today, don't chase perfection. Don't wait for permission. Don't compare your path to anyone else's. Just show up. That's how progress begins. And that's how healing continues. We often grow up believing that change must be grand to be real. That progress must be loud to be meaningful. That transformation has to shake the ground beneath us to be worthy of celebration. But the truth is far more gentle, far more human. Growth begins in the smallest steps, quietly, slowly, almost invisibly. Progress is not always loud. It's not always a straight line. Sometimes progress looks like falling apart and choosing to get back up over and over again. Sometimes it's in the way you hold yourself together when everything feels like it's falling apart. Sometimes it's choosing not to give up on yourself even when every part of you is tired, hurt, or afraid. You don't have to have it all figured out. You don't need to wear a smile when your heart is aching. You don't need to pretend to be strong when you're falling apart inside. All you need to do is be here, as you are. That is enough. We often wait for the right time to begin. We wait for clarity, for confidence, for the pain to go away before we take that first step. But healing doesn't wait for perfect timing. Growth doesn't ask for you to be ready. Life begins the moment you choose to show up messy, confused, imperfect, and say, I'm here. I'm trying. There's dignity in that. There's beauty in that. You don't need to wear your wounds like shame. They are not proof of weakness, they are evidence of your survival. They show that you've lived, you've hurt, you've learned. Every scar, visible or invisible, is a reminder that you've made it this far. And that matters. So don't measure your worth by what you've accomplished or how well you've hidden your pain. Measure it by your resilience, by your ability to still be kind when life hasn't been fair, by the way you offer love, even when your own heart is healing, by how you keep showing up, especially on the days when it would have been easier to stay hidden. That's not failure. That's bravery. Let today be the moment you give yourself credit for the effort, even if it didn't lead to a finish line. Let today be the day you recognize that showing up counts, that trying counts, that breathing through the storm and still choosing to move forward, even by a fraction, counts. You don't need to know the whole path to start walking. You don't need to see the destination to trust the journey. Just start. Just move, just try. And let that be enough for now. Because one day when you look back, you'll realize it wasn't one big moment that changed everything. It was the collection of small, brave moments when you said, "I'll try again." It was every quiet step that felt like nothing at the time, but was actually everything. So don't wait for the perfect opportunity. Don't wait for certainty. Don't wait to feel fearless. Take the small step. Start where you are. Use what you have. Do what you can. And let that be more than enough. You are more powerful than you think. Not because you've avoided pain, but because you've endured it and are still capable of love, of hope, of beginning again. Your pain is part of your power. And you don't need to wait until you're healed to start using it. You can begin now, right here, right in the middle of your becoming. Because even in your hardest moments, you are still rising. And that is a kind of power the world cannot take away. In a world full of noise, applause often becomes a measurement of worth. We live in times where success is broadcast, milestones are captured in pictures, and healing is expected to be inspiring, visible, tidy, and fast. We're taught almost unknowingly to seek validation for our growth, to look outward for confirmation that we're doing life right? But real journeys, the most meaningful ones, rarely come with applause. Sometimes growth is painfully quiet. It happens in the stillness of your room when no one is watching. It grows inch by inch through rain and wind and storm. And you too are growing, even if it doesn't always feel like it. There is a quiet strength in those who rise, not dramatically, but consistently. Those who fall and get back up. Those who take one small step today and another tomorrow. Those who show up for themselves in ways the world may never notice, but their soul does. Their heart does. You don't need to rush. Growth is not a race. Healing is not a competition. No one else has lived your life, felt your pain, or carried your burdens. So no one else gets to measure your progress. It's okay if your steps are slow. It's okay if you sometimes need to pause. It's okay if some days all you can manage is a breath, a tear, a thought of hope. That is still a step. The smallest decisions you make today can lead to the biggest changes tomorrow. Choosing to forgive even when it hurts. Choosing to rest even when guilt whispers you should be doing more. It doesn't lie in masking your scars or denying your struggle. Your power lies in owning it. In standing tall, not in spite of your wounds, but because of them. In saying, yes, I've been through pain, but I'm still here. And I haven't lost myself. Sometimes the fall teaches you how to fly. Because once you've hit rock bottom, you start to realize you're no longer afraid of falling. And that freedom, the freedom from fear, is powerful. It gives you wings. It gives you courage. It gives you the clarity to live fully, to speak truthfully, and to love deeply. Your pain is not your enemy. It's a chapter in your story. It's a part of the journey that may have hurt you, but it also gave birth to parts of you that didn't exist before. Strength, empathy, resilience. Depth taught the people who carry the deepest light are often the ones who have walked through the darkest nights. They don't shine because life was kind to them, they shine because they refuse to let the darkness swallow them. It begins in small decisions made with love. Choosing to start today is an act of faith in yourself. It's a quiet promise to the future version of you that says, I may not have it all together, but I won't keep waiting to live. Stop postponing your healing. Stop delaying your dreams. Stop convincing yourself that you'll be better, stronger, or more capable tomorrow. The truth is you are already enough to begin. Right now. Today. Even if your heart is still mending. Even if your voice shakes. Even if your steps are uncertain. Even if all you can offer today is a whisper of effort, it counts. Don't underestimate what one ordinary day can do. Don't underestimate what one brave decision can lead to. Momentum is built through presence, not perfection. And sometimes the most powerful thing you can do is simply say, I will not wait any longer. Choosing to speak kindly to yourself, even when your inner critic is loud. These choices are not small. They are the foundation of growth. We all carry invisible battles. We all have days when nothing feels like enough. But don't let the silence of your progress fool you into thinking it isn't real. Just because your journey isn't loud doesn't mean it's not powerful. There is no shame in starting small. In fact, that's where the magic lies. In the single step, the quiet decision, the one moment you choose to believe in yourself, even a little, that belief grows. That belief becomes strength. And over time, that strength becomes transformation. So take the pressure off yourself to be perfect. Take the weight off your shoulders that says you should be further along by now. You are not late. You are not behind. You are exactly where you need to be to take your next step. Let today be that step. And that is more than enough. We spend so much of our lives waiting for the perfect time, for the right moment, for clarity, for courage. We wait for the pain to pass, for the doubt to disappear, for the fear to fade. And while we wait, life quietly moves forward, one sunrise, one breath, one heartbeat at a time. We tell ourselves, someday I'll try, someday I'll be ready, someday I'll be happy. But the truth is, someday is a comforting illusion. A place we retreat to when today feels too hard, too uncertain, too full of questions. But there is no magic in someday. The magic, the change, the power is in today. Today is messy, unpredictable, imperfect, but it's real. It's here. It's the only thing you're truly promised. And it holds more opportunity than you think. What if today is enough? Not perfect, but enough. What if today is the exact starting point your soul has been waiting for? Not when the fear is gone, not when the conditions are ideal, but now right here, in this very moment, with all your flaws, your doubts, and your hope. Too often, we believe we have to feel completely ready before we begin. But readiness is not a requirement for beginning. Starting doesn't mean having it all figured out. It means having the courage to take one small step, even when your voice trembles, even when your knees shake, even when you're not sure what comes next. You don't have to know the whole path. You just have to take the next step. Maybe that step is speaking your truth. Maybe it's asking for help. Maybe it's letting go of something that's been weighing you down. Maybe it's finally choosing yourself after years of putting everyone else first.